My name is Evelyn Josephine, and at an early age, when I was really in high school and decided I wanted to be a writer, I decided that when I went to college, I would shorten it and have everybody call me Jo Gordon, because I thought Jo Gordon on a book looked better than Evelyn Josephine Gordon. So that's how I became Jo Gordon. And I was born in Spokane, Washington, to lovely, wonderful parents who moved shortly thereafter to a little mining town called Northport, Washington, and then to Yakima, Washington, where I spent the first years of my life. And I have a few hobbies, one of which might surprise you. One is poker. And once a week, I play poker. And I want to tell you, I was a loser. Like, I'd lose $3. I mean, talk about going bankrupt. But I made the best of it. And last week, I made dollars. And I beat I'm playing with a few men and one other woman. And I beat the lot. So that's what I like to do. I have a dog, a little darling Yorkie, and I'm also crazy about animals. I think they're so wonderful. So that's another one of my passions. My main passion, however, the passion that drives me completely, is this family that I have. And I'm not kidding. They are truly wonderful and the joys of my life. Oh, good. So anyway, that, and as I said, my little doggie, who is a Yorkie, named Bernard, and he got his name from a French server in Paris. Because when my husband and I went to Paris, and we went to this darling bistro, and that helped us. Well, my husband told me he was in Paris when it was liberated. And the server was so thrilled. He took my husband's arm, kissed his arm all the way up his arm. And that was just wonderful. When I got this little doggie, the first thing he did was kiss my arm all the way up. And I said, oh my God, here's Bernard. So that's Bernard. Well, child. So that gave me sort of like a special place in my family's life. And I had a truly outstanding, unusual mother and father. My mother was a gifted pianist. In fact, she had won a national competition. And when she was in high school, she used to practice before she went to high school. And so she was very gifted. And my father was in electrical engineering from Washington State College in Pullman. And very few men went to college in those days, but he did. And just before he was ready to graduate, he had to leave that profession, because his father became very ill, and he had to take over his dad's men's clothing. My dad was just a brilliant guy, but a humanist, and he was both of my parents were just, I had a happy childhood. This is going to be a happy story. I'm sorry, darn it, I didn't go through horrible, I'm not maladjusted because, darn it, I had such a good childhood, but I had loads of friends. I played baseball. I was a sports addict. Played baseball in the empty lot next door. I played football on the school ground, and I was a real tomboy until the age of 10. And then suddenly I thought, girl, and I think the girls, they're all acting different. I think I better change it. My mother was a beautiful looking woman and very elegant. And she really knew all the lovely assets of a lovely woman. And I thought, I've got to start being like my mom. So that sort of changed roles about that time. let's see, is there anything else? Did they encourage you to get an education? Well, I tell you, if I had graduated from college, they probably never would have spoken to me again. College came at birth, high school came along, and definitely college. And I always wanted to be something. And being an only child, I had a strong desire to make my parents proud of me. So I thought maybe if I were famous, they would like that. So at first I wanted to be a famous movie actress. And when I went to Hollywood, see what it was like with my grandma when I was about 17. I graduated high school when I was just 17, just had a birthday. And when I saw what it was like to get a job in Hollywood, I already met a few of these predators. I decided, I guess I'm going back to Washington. So I went back to Washington, and I had a career change. Well, I graduated from college. I graduated from high school in 1935, and I graduated from college in 1939. And from then, shortly thereafter, I started looking for a job. And, you know, there's all this thing. I hate to tell you, I'm going to be a disappointment, because there's all this thing about, oh, women can't get a job. I never thought of it in terms like that. You went out, you knocked on doors and say, oh, here I am, I want a job, and I get one. And it turned out exactly like that. I just did that. I looked at a couple of wanted ads when I was in California with my grandmother, and one of them was sort of scary, some scary guy who locked the door when on our interview. And so I figured that wasn't going to be for me. And so I ended up getting the job that I wanted right away, and it worked out beautifully. When I was in college, I was in a sorority. It was AE5, a Jewish sorority. And I think we were all motivated to get jobs, and we weren't anxious. Just some of them, like some of my boyfriends, I introduced to some of my sorority sisters, and they liked them and got married, and some of them wanted to marry me, but I did not want to get married before I had a career. And my sorority sisters, many of them were the same way. We wanted to do something on their own. Now I went to college in 1935, so that was quite a while ago. So we were just think of ourselves as women. We thought of ourselves as people. We were human beings. So if we wanted a job, well, gosh, we were going to go get it. That's all. You know what I've discovered, and you know how old I'm going to be, 100 shortly. But I've discovered that just wanting to do something, if you want it, you just go out and do it. You don't have to get a parental permission slip or from a high school principal or something. You just go and do it. You say, heck, this is what I want to do. And if you get a few disappointments, well, heck, isn't that the way it is in sports? You're going to strike out, you're going to make a home run. I think that was a pattern that was really followed more by my mother than by the girls that I knew. Yeah. Because some of them wanted to do that. And the girls that wanted to do that, I had a few boyfriends I introduced them to, and they got married right away. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to get married. It was not my plan at all. I wanted to do something on my own and then and I had a dream about the type of me, and I wasn't going to marry anybody until I got the one I wanted. And so as it turned out that I absolutely found him, and just through the pattern of accidents in life, and fell madly in love with him, and he fell madly in love with me, proposed to me, and we were married 3 days later. Was glorious. He was handsome, which I liked, he was a medical doctor who had volunteered to go into the service because he heard what was happening to the Jews in Germany, and he decided he wanted to help. Now, I didn't know anything about this wonderful person, but my aunt met him. She was a gray lady at the base where he was stationed. He was from New Jersey, stationed in Spokane, Washington, where my aunt lived. So my aunt, she said, I found somebody that I think is perfect. I had loads of boyfriends, and I did not want to get married. I think they were getting a little worried about me, this maverick. So she wrote my mom, and she said, I think they'd make a nice couple. Why don't I set them up? So my mother writes me a job, the job I wanted. Oh God, I found it. It was wonderful. I was happy as a lark. And my mom wrote me and said, your grandmother is lonesome for you. She wants you to come to Spokane and visit her for the high holidays. Well, I adored my grandma. So, okay, I had to put off everything and make a train reservation in Washington to see my grandma. So that is how I met my husband, because my aunt set up a blind date. And when I heard about that, I was going with a young man who was very interested in me, and he would have been a perfect husband. And he was like, there was another one that was living in Boston, waiting for me to say yes to marry him. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I went to Spokane to visit my grandma, and my aunt had set up this date, and I was just, oh gosh, I'm going with someone, I don't want to go. I hate blind dates. I don't want to. She said, and my aunt said, is that the way you're going to treat someone who's giving his life for his country? And I said, okay, Auntie Frida, I'll go. So he came to pick me up. And when he came in my aunt's kitchen and I saw him, my heart flipped. And I just went, and he said, he saw me, his heart flipped. And that night he told me that he wanted me to move to Spokane so we could get acquainted, so we could get married. And I went out with this young man, and we had the most magical evening. And there was a hotel in Spokane, Washington, with canaries singing and beautiful food and beautiful surroundings. And we ate at this table we were there for about 4 hours. And then he drove me back to my aunt's house in my aunt's car and proposed to me.
Wow.
And I said, I have to think this over. I was supposed to go back to my job and this other boyfriend the next day, but I was completely overwhelmed with this man. He was just everything that I dreamed about. His ideas, his character, his looks, everything. I just thought, oh. So I said, well, don't talk to me for half a day. I've got to just be by myself and think. So I called my parents and said, don't do anything, because he knew I was rather flighty about boyfriends. And he said, your mom and I are driving down to Spokane. Well, they drove down, fell in love with him. We ended up going to the Justice of Peace. It was called, what was it called? Something like the Marriage Broker or something in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, because they had a 3-day wait in Washington, and my parents went along as the witnesses. So you can